radio show, Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. Well, thanks for making a trip from Alabama.
Welcome, Army sports fans, from sea to shining sea. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford, and this is Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. And we are happy campers tonight, and I am joined, as usual, by the human Ouija board, Steve Cripey.
Yes, sir. Talking a little Army football.
Army football. By the Dirt Pig, Captain Barrett Crawford.
Nationally ranked in the America.
Nationally ranked in both polls, in both the AP and the UPI poll. And I'll tell you, Steve, I never get tired of hearing the president call our name and remembering that day. That was
that was a special sort of bucket list kind of thing. Yeah,
that was a special sort of bucket list. Speaking of bucket list kind of things, we got a, as Ed Sullivan say, really big shoe tonight. We have got the defensive line coach, Sean Cronin, is calling in here in about 10 minutes or so. And after that, we're going to break down the great 44-10 win by Army over UAB. And then later on, we're going to talk a good bit about what's coming up with the East Carolina Teacher School, also known as the Pirates. And later on, towards the end of the show, we'd like to hear you guys call in, our listeners, and tell us what you think about the first half of the season, the 6-0 start of this ranked football team. Bowl eligible. But before we get going, I do want to mention one of our sponsors, and that is North Alabama Mortgage, Brian Hammaker. I got to go to the Alabama game with Brian this past weekend. We talked about banking all the way down, and the bottom and many other things. But the bottom line is this: you need to go see North Alabama Mortgage right now. Rates are good, and they can do a lot of stuff to help you have your best investment help you out in your life. So NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. That's how you get a hold of them. Steve, who'd have thunk that we're number one in the nation in so many categories?
Oh yeah, it's sort of a good news, bad news. I wouldn't say bad news, a cautionary, kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, Army has been dominant. They beat the point spread on everyone. I didn't recompute it, but like I mentioned last week, going into the game against UAB, we were exceeding the point spread by 16.5 points. So it's not just that we're winning in a dominant fashion. I will say, and again, not to be a Debbie Downer here, if we win this week, it will be the first team that's 500 or better that we've beaten. Now, I will say Lehigh has rebounded a little bit. I think they were 3-2.
Yeah.
But again, FCS team. I think we're about to step into the meat of the schedule, and we're going to face some quality teams. ECU, I think is a quality team. It may not reflect it in their record, but then you look at the other one, Air Force, a down year. They're in the bottom 10 teams in scoring. But it's a Service Academy rivalry game. Navy's going to be tough. I think North Texas is going to be probably our biggest test prior to Notre Dame. They always play us tough when we move on to their neighborhood down there in Denton, Texas.
Yeah, and like you said, Steve, it's we're done at the halfway point of the season, and all the American Athletic Conference teams we played so far, some could argue are kind of the bottom tier teams right now because they're just not doing good, but we are dominating against them. This is like Alabama playing Louisiana Monroe and putting up 49 points.
Yeah.
We're doing the same thing. And it's if you look at what's going on with Army football, they're doing a lot of first ofs, first time since this. Right now, I mean, we're coming out, we're scoring in a touchdown on every opening drive. It's fantastic. We're passing the ball for over 50 yards and getting a touchdown. And it's fantastic to watch Army football come out.
Yeah.
And just kick
and as we were talking about over dinner, we've yet to play from behind.
Oh yeah.
That's
good.
That's pretty remarkable to go through 6 games and never be behind on the scoreboard.
I'll tell you what, guys, it almost sounds to me like we're just laying the announcer's jinx all over the place.
I know.
I hope we're
rat poison. Rat
we
poison.
take it all back.
But I mean, think about some of the things like Barrett, the point you mentioned about playing weak teams, and a lot of people on our Facebook page have brought that point out. But I will tell you this: I can recall playing some teams like Stony Brook and like Bucknell and like Yale one time and getting beat. You know, we're taking these teams that are weak, and instead of having a heart stopping last second win, we're trouncing them. So we're doing what we're supposed to do, and we're doing it really well.
And one of the things Monken always says, it is tough for any FBS team to beat another FBS team on, you know, any given Saturday. And so you really can't take it for granted. There really is parity. And I think NIL is going to push some of that talent down to the lower, believe it or not, because all the big money going after the 4 and 5, and everybody's going to fend for themselves. We're winning, but we're winning in dominant fashion. And, you know, like you say, not too many years ago, we were not winning the games we were supposed to win.
Oh, yeah. And it's great to be ranked, too. I mean, I don't think we've talked about it yet, but we're number 23 in the nation. And you know who we're above?
We're above Michigan
and Navy. We're above Michigan and Navy.
Well, I know this. If you're out there listening, which I sincerely doubt it, but the one caller to this show who likes to call himself Natty Dan, who used to be Wolverine Dan, you can take that, buddy, because you're cheating. Michigan Wolverines are getting their due. How about that?
Let's keep in mind we're halfway through the season. Whole lot of football still to be played.
It's going to be a troubling team if we don't take them seriously.
Well, you know, there are some other things though, like the love that Bryson Daly is getting nationwide. I saw one watch list where he was in the top 16 as potential Heisman Trophy candidates, albeit, like you said, Steve, a lot of season left to go. But I think our quarterback is playing probably better than any quarterback I have ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, borderline mistake-free football. I mean, his decision-making, you know, we've talked about his throwing mechanics are so much better. But I mean, you look at the decision-making. But I think the unsung heroes of this team, we've got one of the, in my opinion, this is probably the best offensive line that I've probably seen 20, 25 years.
Oh, yeah.
They're a great unit. They're great individual talent. And I think a lot of the success that Daly is seeing, you know, that Udo's seeing, that Short's seeing, all that's happening because of the 5 guys up in the trenches. And, you know, small, you know, anchor at that crucial center position, really the quarterback of the offensive line. We've got a solid unit.
Who, by the way, are in the mid-season Joe Moore Award given to the best offensive line in the country. They're on the honor roll for Joe Moore mid-season.
Yeah, I mean, they've been the offensive line hasn't changed out since the start of the season too, which is a real testament to how great and efficient the offense is playing. And they're creating the holes for Bryson Daly to come and stiff arm like Derrick Henry, the UAB player, bounce his head off.
Right.
You know,
it was that one of those don't bring that stuff in here kind of stiff arm. You know, who do you think you are trying to tackle me?
I'll tell you a good compliment I heard on Bryson Daly was from my wife, and we were watching the game, and she said, you know, all these quarterbacks slide. This guy you have does not slide. He just punishes people.
Yeah, every yard counts, you know.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. But, you know, fortunately, he's got the frame that can withstand some of that beating. You know, knock on wood. Hopefully he stays healthy because I think our probability of finishing out the season in a fantastic fashion are contingent upon his health.
Yeah, and I agree too. I mean, if he stays healthy, the offensive line stays healthy, and the defensive side of the ball too, defensive line, the defensive back core. Bottom line, everybody needs to stay healthy, beat out ECU, and then go into the second half of this season just stronger so we can finish it out and hopefully finish it undefeated.
Yeah, and I will say, you know, speaking of the health, the fact that we've got ahead in these games and we've put, you know, the 2 and even 3 deep out there in the event down the road,
get them reps.
That we do have an injury. These guys, it'll make for an easier transition.
Oh yeah.
And you know, one thing that may happen this week is we may see the return of number 21, Tyrell Robinson, and certainly could use him in the punt return game, couldn't we?
Do you have like a secret little birdie whispering in your ears, or is this just wishful thinking?
This is wishful, intuitive, hopeful thinking. How about that?
Wow.
In other words, I don't have the
probability of success 0.1. Yeah.
As Colonel Jessup would say when he was asked about the travel habits of William Santiago, he said, I don't have the first damn clue. So I don't really have the first damn clue, but I hope he gets out there. But some of our other running backs have really what was the guy's name you mentioned, Steve? I'm drawing a blank.
Noah Short.
Noah Short. Kanye
Noah Short. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Noah Short out of the backfield on those receptions. Yeah. Kanye Udo. I mean, those guys are a phenomenal 1-2 punch. It's pick your poison. You mentioned before the show that the East Carolina coach said, it's all about stopping Daly.
Yeah,
Okay.
You got two other guys.
Yes, there's just all kinds of weapons out there.
And Noah Short too. It kind of the first 3 games or so, it seemed like it was a Bryson Daly Noah Short combination. He would break free, get for a pass, and then these last few games, it's been a Kanye Udo run, up the middle for 60 yards. And I think both of them combined with Bryson Daly, and then Bryson Daly also throwing it. I think this offense is great, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the first 3 games and a unit that has really, really stepped it up of late, and that is our defensive line. They have been just playing awesome, and we have now with us the 3rd-year coach, the head of the defensive line, Coach Sean Cronin. Coach, how you doing tonight?
Great, guys. How you doing?
We're talking Army
Doing
football.
great.
Couldn't be better.
And we're talking about good Army football stuff. So how are you doing tonight, Coach? Are you fired up these days?
I am fired up. You guys had me on. I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, we're certainly glad to have you on. And tell us a little bit about the transformation that's happened in our defensive line from the start of the season to now. They seem to be playing just top-notch, the level 10 football.
Well, I mean, I think our players do an awesome job. They come to work every day and they develop. This is a developmental program, and our guys have, are continuing to improve. They're not resting on anything they've done before. They get better every day, and they're just a joy to coach. They're just awesome to be around. Just incredible young men.
Yeah, that's fantastic to hear. I want to pull on that string a little bit. Yeah, Lehigh opening game. Gave up over 170 yards on the ground, and Army fan base. Hey, what's going on here? This is an FCS team. You made a change on the defensive line from game 1 to game 2, and put in Cody Harris Miller at nose tackle. Talk about his impact not only against the run, but putting pressure on the quarterback.
Cody's a really talented young guy. He's very powerful, and it just takes some time. Like at that position, again, it's a developmental program, but also it's a developmental position, specifically the defensive line. It's hard to play early from a physical development standpoint, and he just has kind of gotten to the point where the game has slowed down for him, and he's been very active and for us, and just does a tremendous job in there.
Well, hey, Coach, I wanted to talk about Kyle Lewis. You see, he's one of the team captains for the team, and what is his impact as a leadership role in that team with the defensive line and the defense in total?
Well, he's a tremendous leader. We've had some really great leaders on the defensive line. We just graduated a bunch of seniors last year. Just did an unbelievable job of leading that group, and he was a part of that. He played with those guys, and he's done a great job. Him and Cody Winokur and some of the other older guys that have played have just done a tremendous job of just carrying the torch and taking over that leadership role. And he's played basically every position on the defensive line. He can help the young guys from technique to just regular life, and he's just a great resource for those young guys for everything. Him and Cody Winokur both are just tremendous leaders.
Hey, Coach, I have a kind of an oddball question, but I'm kind of an oddball guy, so it fits. Nowadays, the Connor Stallions rule, I guess you call it, where the plays come in through the headset of the other team, and they also come in through the headset of the defense. Is that helping or hurting play in college football, particularly for us?
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. It's college football kind of is we kind of mirror the NFL. We're just a few years behind them. They've been doing that in the NFL for a while, so I think it's good. I mean, I think you can eliminate some of the issues you have with sign stealing. I know it's hard on defense, because teams go up tempo and stuff. So it's hard when you can only talk to one guy on the field. And if you're in the offense, you can huddle up and that guy can tell the guys to play. But on defense, you have 11 guys that have to get lined up to no huddle offenses. It's a little harder to do that on defense, but I think overall it's a good thing.
So it's often said that the real development of a football player is not necessarily what happens on Saturday, but it's Monday through Friday or Sunday through Friday, and it's often your teammates that you're lining up against that real development, that growth comes about. The offensive line right now is probably one of the best offensive lines I've seen at Army in quite some time. I mean, they just great cohesive unit, great individual talent. How has that impacted the development of your big boys up front on defense?
Oh, it has a huge impact. I think, Mike Vitti and Matt Drinkle do an unbelievable job with that O-line, and the players themselves. Our guys work so great together. We're constantly, we do competitive things throughout practice, and those are the best reps. When you get the older guys versus the older guys, or the guys that are playing more at this time versus each other. There's segments of practice where we do that, and those are the best reps. And I'll tell you, if you don't get your pads down on some of those guys, they'll teach you in a hurry.
We've been watching that all year.
Yeah.
Right.
They're awesome. They're every bit of as much to do with it as our guys. Competition is the greatest teacher, and those and it's just remarkable how well they all work together and for a common goal, and it's the same team. So they never lose sight of that, and they work really well together, and it's great.
That's fantastic.
Well, it's iron sharpening iron, and it's great to see. Well, hey, Coach, our Army right now, top of the nation in red zone defense. That defensive line is, shown throughout the history of Army football to have some pretty remarkable stops around the goal line. You look at Navy last year. What are you telling your guys on these red zone stops? To buckle down. Put your chin strap on, go as low as you can, or what are you feeding your guys out there?
Well, I mean, it's not just us. I mean, the whole defense is just, you get down there in the red zone and it takes 11 guys to do it. I mean, the secondary does an unbelievable job of, getting the body on a body and covering those guys up. The run is just, the linebackers our linebackers are fitting things just really, really well. And it's the whole defense. Coach Woody's played pretty good red zone defense for a while now, and it's just a team effort for sure.
Oh, Coach, I think that's blatantly obvious, and we love seeing it, and we don't like seeing the fourth down situations or the goal line situation, but we certainly have done well this year. But just kind of a generic question. I know reading your bio and just watching you've been around college football for quite some time, both as a player and a coach. What is special about coaching at West Point? What do you think the drumbeat is up there that you really like?
Well, it is the perfect time to be coaching at West Point. We're insulated from a lot of the craziness that goes on in college football, and these guys are still in it for each other. They're not. They weren't on somebody else's roster last year, and they're just a free agent or a hired gun. They play for each other and they play with each other, and that's really one of the advantages we kind of have right now. I mean, you think about like I said, there's not many developmental programs anymore. You know, you need somebody to play this position. You just go out and get it. And, you know, our guys grow and develop, and they work together for 4 years. And that, you know, it's sadly, it used to be, you know, other programs at one point, you know, you had more of a family culture to their football program, but I think that that's fleeting these days. But the brotherhood here at West Point is alive and well. And, you know, what I remember when I first got here, I thought, oh yeah, this is what college football used to be like. These guys are just really close, and you know, would do anything. And it's about a lot more than football. You know, they do it, you know, for each other, and they have it's not about me. You know, it's not about me. It's a true team. When I don't think that there is, you know, I don't want to make a judgment about other teams, but I would guess that there's a lot less true teams out there these days, and that's what Coach Monken and these players have built here.
That's encouraging to hear, and just your assessment there confirmed a lot of things for me, because I've wondered about the transfer portal, NIL. What does that do to the locker room dynamics? And as you said, you know, just the brotherhood and undermining that, and those guys are going to miss out on so much that, you know, teams of old got to sort of relish in that. But I want to zero on another thing, maybe not just defense, but the team as a whole. It really seems Army took a big step and sort of rekindled a real discipline style and culture with regard to penalties. Last year, we let them creep up a little bit. Some of those annoying pre-snap kind of penalties as well. Is this just the maturation of the players and the team, or is there something specifically you all have done as a coaching staff to really tighten things up from a discipline standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, it's all the players. You know, they you know, they're highly disciplined kids. Obviously, being at West Point to begin with, you have to be pretty disciplined and personality to get in the school here and to thrive here. And but I think that you know, they've just done an outstanding job of paying attention to detail and holding each other accountable, and they've just been really focused, and they've so far, you know, have experienced the fruits of that. I think that they've just done a tremendous job of like I said earlier, just they continue to get better every day, and they haven't let anything slide, and they're just you know, they're a disciplined group.
Outstanding.
Well, hey, Coach, before we let you go, I know they show this on the Army telecast all the time, which obviously you're not watching because you got other things to do, but they always show the typical day in the life of a cadet. What is a typical day in the life of an Army coach during the week?
Oh, you know, we do it just like anywhere else. You know, we come in and we have staff meeting, and then we get to go in. It's a lot of fun for me to get to work with the guys that I work with, and we'll have, you know, defensive meetings, and we all have our own responsibilities that we go, but then we come together and share, you know, what we've learned and game plan together. Coach Woody's just obviously had so much success throughout his career, and is just a great person to learn from. I know Coach Dixon does an unbelievable job with our secondary, and then Coach Verpale came in. He's coordinated before, and Coach Luce has coordinated before, and it's just like you know, it's just tremendous to be around all those guys on defense, and then our whole staff as well. You know, it's the same thing on the other side of the ball, and you know, we kind of grind it out all day and watch film and get ready for our meetings, and then we come together and review practice, make sure we're ready to go, and then go hit the field. And then we got recruiting calls and stuff in the evening.
You know, we hear all these stories about coaches sleep, you know, like, you know, some of the coaches like Joe Gibbs spending all the day in the office. Y'all do get to go home at night and spend time with those three youngins of yours, I would hope.
Yeah, I actually have 4 of them now, but
Wow.
my,
Fertile
yeah,
grounds
so-
at West Point, huh?
yeah. So, that we got a job to do, and we got to take whatever time we need to do to get that job done. And sometimes that's more than 9 to 5, but I know one thing, family is important here. And I know Coach Monken, there's been times when things are happening with my kids, and I've asked them, is it okay if I'm late for this to go to my son's football game, or to my, it's okay if I cut out early to go to my daughter's volleyball game or something like that. And he's never told me no. He's never told me no. And he's definitely family first. I brought my son in. My son's been in the locker room after games, and we certainly probably not the traditional work hours for sure, but he encouraged us to have our family around and to put our family first.
Oh, that's encouraging.
Well, that somehow, Coach, that doesn't surprise us, and we really appreciate your time tonight. And we hope y'all just kick the living snot out of the Pirates this weekend and get us up in the top 20 instead of just the top 25. So, hey, thank you much. We'll be watching the defensive line get a few more sacks this week. Very much glad to have you here tonight.
Well, we'll see. It'll be quite a challenge. They're a pretty good football team.
Yes, they are.
So,
thanks. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Okay, Bailey.
All right, thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Coach Cronin, very much. You want to go ahead and take us out of here with a break real quick? I guess that music means yes.
That would be the affirmative.
When we come back, Bailey, maybe we can get the Sprint Minute in real quick. And, folks, Coach Sean Cronin, defensive line, will be back in a bit.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Hi folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Week 8 of our high school football streaming network features Buckhorn at Mae Jemison for a chance to go to the playoffs over the air. Zone 2 has Madison Academy playing host to Pope St. John Paul II. Undefeated Randolph plays at home to Madison County on Zone 3. Zone 4 features the Sparkman Senators at Grissom. Zone 5 has the Westminster Christian Academy Wildcats taking on North Jackson. And over on Talk Radio WZZN, Huntsville is at Florence.
AL cert number 21014. As the calendar turns to Halloween, make sure you get more treats than tricks. Thomas from Talent Heating and Air is with us. Don't let those ghosts and goblins get you on Halloween.
Yeah, we're not too worried about the ghosts and goblins this Halloween. We'll come out, we'll do a free second opinion like we always do. We're offering $49 tune-ups to make sure that you're ready for the fall and the coming winter. And then we're also offering free heat exchanger checks. We'll come out, we'll check your heat exchanger, make sure you don't have any leaks and don't have to worry about carbon monoxide getting in your house.
And Talent Heating and Air won't ghost you on this Halloween.
If you call us, we'll definitely get to you right then, or we'll get right back with you. We pride ourselves in the same day service as much as possible.
Let the people know how to get you.
That's 256-503-4490, or if you want to hit us up on our website, that's talenthvac.com.
The Talent Heating and Air give you plenty of treats this Halloween.
Hey, Huntsville. Looking for action-packed events? The Huntsville Sports Commission is your hub for all things sports. From youth events to national tournaments, we've got events that thrill and inspire. Whether you're an athlete, a fan, or a volunteer, there's something for everyone. Cheer on your favorite teams, witness amazing talent, and be a part of the excitement. Check out our event calendar and get involved at huntsvillesports.com. That's huntsvillesports.com. Be there, Huntsville.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Plenty of sunshine this afternoon, though. Definitely going to be just a touch on the chilly end of the spectrum. Temperatures climbing into the upper 50s and lower 60s. We're dropping into the mid and upper 30s as we head into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning. Definitely going to need a jacket as you head out the door for work on Thursday. Plenty of sunshine Thursday afternoon. Temperatures climb into the mid and upper 60s. We're getting really close to 70 degrees, but it looks like many of us are going to fall just shy. We only drop into the mid and upper 40s as we head into the overnight, early into your Friday morning. We maintain the sunshine through Friday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 70s, dropping into the mid and upper 40s through the overnight, early Saturday morning. The sunshine continues Saturday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Listen weekday afternoons starting at 5 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's perfect.
Welcome back, everybody, to Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. This is Barrett the Dirt Pig Crawford bringing you in. Real quick, we just want to give a shout out, a little sprint minute. There you go. Just give a shout out to the Sprint football team. They played St. Thomas Aquinas last week. Aquinas, excuse me. And
Steve will get you on that grammar stuff. Gets me all the time.
I'm good with the numbers, bad with the names, but 49-13. You know, we interviewed Coach West last week, and his son Kyle West just racked it up, almost looking like a Bryson Daly with 6 touchdowns and 340 passing. So shout out to the Sprint football team doing a great job.
That is not bad.
I had a cup of coffee before this.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Kyle West. Well, hey, folks.
I thought he did handle the transition. I mean, first time, I think he knocked it out of the park.
I think.
Come on, quit busting your son's chop, okay?
Thank you.
You did good. Did good, son. Glad to hear that.
You done good, boy.
Well, hey, before we move on to some other topics, just a couple of things. Later on in the show, or whenever you get some change out of your pocket and get to a payphone, we want to hear what you think out there. You, the listeners, about our 6-0 start. 256-576-4977. We'll take your calls whenever in the second half. And the other thing is Nick's Ristorante, our great sponsor. One of the things they do down there is they collect stuff, all kinds of stuff, you know, goodies, whatever the case may be, whatever you want to send to a soldier who is deployed, and just take them down to Nick's starting October 22nd, and they mail them off overseas. And while you're there, you can certainly get a good meal, and trust me, you can get a good meal down there, no doubt about it. And Saturdays at 2:00, they have a little deal where you can come down, pay a nominal fee, have some refreshing adult beverages, some great food, and watch the football game. So let me try my sound effect.
No, that was bad call. Bad.
Good, the bad, the ugly. Steve,
That's
start
right.
us off.
All the dogs in the neighborhood are
Perk the
howling
ears
us.
up.
Yeah. So good, bad, and the ugly. I mean, there was a lot of good there. I mean, offense as a whole firing on all cylinders. But again, I think the really good. I just can't say enough about this offensive line. If you just look at their execution on any given play, every single offensive lineman is doing exactly what they need to do. And if you follow Pro Football Focus, PFF, what they do is they review every game film and rate each player. They watch a player every down on what they do. Did they do what they were supposed to do, and did they do it well? And they score them on that. Our offensive line is one of the highest ranked offensive lines in the country. So, the quote unquote skill positions, Daly, Udo, Short, getting a lot, and they deserve the praise they're getting. But the guys who are making it happen are the guys down in the trenches, the offensive line.
Yeah, I think that goes right into the good as well. Without that offensive line, Daly and Udo and Noah Short and them, they can't do their praise. I think a really good one, and it's made a lot of social media attention, is that Daly stiff arm. I mean, my word, if that could be a good, the bad, the ugly, but what about a pretty? That was a pretty good stiff arm. I think a big bad, and with a big win like that, there's hard to get a bad, but secondary, every time UAB almost passed the ball, they'd get it down and over in the red zone. But a good is that our defense stopped them in the red zone, but just giving up those pass yards is going to hurt us.
Yeah, and you got to wonder down the road when we face a truly capable quarterback, what's that going to look like? And so I love the coaches that we've talked to over the past weekend, and even the secondary coach. They got to get better every single week, and hopefully that progression will continue.
Well, I'm going to go again. I'm an oddball. I get to do oddball things. I'm going to do a little oddball good. And one of the things that I'm really liking this year is you don't normally see a lot of love on ESPN for Army football, but it's happening now. It's happening all, on game day a couple of weeks ago. Pat McAfee, they said, what do you think is great about Army Navy this year? And he said, you cannot be a Patriot and not be for these teams. I thought that was pretty cool. Dan Mullen, they have a portion of their show where they say, what's the biggest thing on the college game day after the fact? So what's the greatest thing that's happened in football this year? And he said, Army and Navy being undefeated. And then, of course, the Pat McAfee show where they asked Coach Jeff Monken about Navy, and he said, do they still play football?
They still got somebody over there?
So let's go around. That's my good. Let's go around one more time and go bad if you want, but I don't think there is a lot to cover.
Turnover. I mentioned last year we struggled a little bit with penalties. We also struggled being on the plus side of the turnover margin. We're ranked 11th in the country, just over one plus side on the turnover margin. That's got to continue, and love it. The two picks that was it Larkin? Casey Larkin, 2 picks. I mean those were just things of beauty, and we've got some developing ball hawks there in the secondary. Need to keep that up because we'll face some capable passers. Certainly Navy. Horvath is the real deal, but Notre Dame, we can expect some really good passing, and North Texas, a very capable passer. So need to continue that progression.
Yeah, it seems like every game you can expect an Army interception, and towards the beginning of the season, we thought, every game you could probably expect a block punt or some type of fake field goal. The only ugly I have was that unsuccessful 2-point conversion. I'd like to see every try that we're going for the offense be a successful conversion, but that's just the only, and it's a very minor one,
I agree. And I was sort of going, okay, why at that point in the game? I sort of felt like it was, let's see if we can do this. Maybe it was part of the development focus there, but it was at that point in the game, we really hadn't certainly put the game away. So it was, why do that?
And to keep the other team on their toes.
And what would a 15-3 lead do for you that a 14-3 lead wouldn't do for you.
I think the guy that had the analytics book had taken a break and went in the restroom or something, because the analytics does not add up on that. And I'll give you one more good that's kind of a little different, but for all the old grads out there who are unhappy with what they see that's not on the field, we were in white over gray again.
I can't believe you're bringing this up. I just these get off my lawn people, I get it. And I really don't understand why they're not in white over all the time. But of all the things maybe it's indicative of how we've raised our expectations. Well, we're doing it on the field. Let me find something else to whine about.
Well, and there is one more good that's that I just found out today, and that hasn't happened in quite some time. The East Carolina game is 100% sold out, and that's a good thing. We haven't seen Mikey filled to the rim in a long time, but it's going to be this weekend.
Yeah, watching on TV against UAB, you could see that upper deck was pretty much packed. I mean, it's a big stadium. I mean, with the construction going on, but having a sold out Mikey Stadium on a nice fall autumn day here in Alabama, if you guys are listening, somewhere in Alaska or New York City, here in Alabama, it's starting to get a little cold, starting to feel like football. So it's pretty cool to see that, packed out Mikey.
It's amazing what winning does to ticket sales.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just,
Well, Steve, since you've chewed me out, have you got another good thing?
Well, we've talked about, fourth down and red zone defense. I mean, consistently getting and the defense, it continues that bend but don't break, kind of mantra. And they did that at several points, got UAB off the field when they absolutely had to, but got to tighten it up in between there. Let's just get them off the field at midfield instead of, letting them onto our side of the field.
Oh yeah. And I think another good too is the passing. I mean, it seems like almost every pass that Bryson Daly does is a huge bomb down the field to Casey Reynolds for a touchdown, which is great. I'll take it. If somebody said, hey, every pass attempt's going to be a touchdown, sign me up, but at the same time, maybe ECU's picking up some signals on that one. So just got to be aware of what we're doing to mix up the pass game a little bit. But I did like it. I see that Casey Reynolds is leading, the team with passing yards. It's amazing.
Oh yeah. But I think Worley is doing a great job of taking what the defense gives them.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking for those tendencies where they're cheating up, they're not playing. I mean, they're committed to stopping the run. Okay. That's right there. Split the zone. Boom. And again, Bryson has just been real effective at putting the ball where it needs to be.
Oh yeah.
Well, let me give you one more good. And for those out there who are watching on YouTube TV, here's my little handy dandy radio notebook. And you wouldn't know this unless you were looking at my notebook, but we have a gentleman named Jack Morrison, who was a member of the last undefeated Army team in 1958. He provides a blog to the whole ecosystem of Army football. How's that for a big word?
Wow.
And this time he does a good, the bad, and the ugly. He had 32 goods, 2 bads, and 2 uglies. And I can tell you this out there, sports fans, it didn't always come out like that.
Yeah, because Jack calls them like he sees them.
Yeah, and he learned his little analytic technique that he uses for his write-up from Red Blake. So congratulations to 32 goods and hardly any bads and uglies. That makes me a happy camper.
Need to keep that going.
Oh yeah.
So any ugly, bad, or whatever you got.
Well, I was going to ask. The 2-point conversion was the only thing that I think that was bad. I don't know that I had any ugly. What were his 2 uglies?
The roughing the punter penalty.
Yes. A point conceded.
And a bobbled punt return. I mean.
Yeah, and that's become. I'm not ready to say it's systemic, but
I've seen another game where
we got to tighten that up.
Once is a problem, 2 times is a trend, and we've got a trend going on like that. And of course, one of his other ones was the botched 2-point attempt. We've talked to that ad nauseum.
Yeah.
So Bailey, let's go ahead and get a break, and then we'll wrap this thing up. But before we do, 256-576-4977. Grab yourself a handful of quarters and run down to the payphone and give us a shout. We'd love to hear from you. Back in a minute.
Howdy, folks. Bob Baumhauer here. Whether you're planning a tailgate party at the game, cheering for your favorite teams at home, or at your local Baumhauers with your family and friends, we're here to make your football party legendary with our party-ready tray selections. From our always fresh buttermilk fried chicken tenders to the homemade Nana's chicken salad, and of course, our fresh, never frozen, award-winning buffalo-style chicken wings. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
You need a lawyer and pick up the phone. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. When you call for a lawyer, where does that phone ring? My phone rings in my office.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. My phone rings in my office too.
So does mine. I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. And when you've been hurt and need help, we're the ones who take your call.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Sports Talk 24/7 365. Your full-time sports station.
You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Doesn't anyone do any work around this joint anymore?
Welcome back, Army football fans, to the final segment of Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. Okay, so we've officially no longer basking in the afterglow of our dominant win over UAB. We are now looking forward to East Carolina Pirates. That's right. Yeah, and that's right. They were originally the teachers.
Yeah.
Good call on going from teachers to Pirates.
That'd have been a weird mascot.
Yeah.
So
a nun with a paddle.
You know, here's a 3-3 team on Massey Composite, which again is an average of a lot of different polls out there. I think they're currently averaging 79 different polls. East Carolina is 3-3 and currently ranked 108. So, okay, another patsy kind of thing. But as Lee Corso says, not so fast, my friend. So as you guys look at East Carolina, what are some potential areas of concern, maybe even at the player level?
Well, I tell you, my area of concern is they have a pretty decent quarterback. And, you know, last week we gave up, 242 yards passing, 61 yards rushing. And we have been vulnerable to a quarterback who's not that good, but we let them play like a All-American. And defensive back play has been a little loose. So, yeah, that's the one vulnerability I'd worry about. Steve, what says the green sheet?
Yeah, I mean, I think you've hit on one of their few strengths. They do put 260 yards on the board there, throwing the ball. So they are effective. The downside is he'll throw as many interceptions as he does touchdowns. So turnovers are a vulnerability for them. But I think that's going to be contingent, what we were talking about earlier. Got to get that pressure on him. Don't allow him to get comfortable in the pocket, and the secondary doing their piece down the field.
Yeah, I agree. I think that that passing threat that they could pose would, be a significant problem. But looking at their rushing yards, it's not too significant. I mean, I think if they try to run the ball on us with our defense, how we have the D-line and the linebackers, I think we're going to dominate on the defensive front in terms of rushing, and stopping that run.
Well, I think one of the things that I think is going to happen this week, and I've been close to a lot of them, but I think what's going to happen is, as Steve and I were talking about over dinner, there's 6 games worth of Army film out there, and we've pretty much done the same thing all 6 games. I think our coaching staff, particularly Coach Worley, is good enough where he is going to put in a game plan that nobody has seen yet. It's not just going to be Bryson Daly right, left, and up the middle. I think they're going to do some stuff off that, and they're going to, maybe we'll see the screen pass and the pass in the flat to the fullback that we hadn't seen in forever. But I think we're going to see a little bit different Army offense, but I think it's going to be just as phenomenal.
Or does Worley save those for Air Force
I think
in North Texas and that? I'm not sure he's going to really open up the play, but not to say he's not going to do some, some different things. But again, I can't help but feel that a lot of our offensive success is due to the fact that opposing defensive coordinators have not had a whole lot of tape. Now, again, we're halfway through the season. They've got some stuff to study. And it was clear from the comments you passed along from the East Carolina coaching presser, he's picking up on, he realizes Daly is crucial. Well, not, casual observer could come up with that, but I'm sure that was just the tip of the iceberg. They're doing a deep dive, looking for those tendencies. And I think this is the point of the season where Worley's got to come in with some of those curveballs and keep that defense honest.
Yeah. And I think too, if, maybe not open up the complete playbook at this time against ECU, but it's also if it ain't broke, or what is it? If it ain't fixed, or don't broke, don't fix. Basically,
if it ain't broke, yeah.
Basically, they're gonna play Army football. They're gonna control the time of possession. They're gonna get Bryson Daly, Conuto, and Noah Short to just run the ball, pass it for a few times, but why not keep it? Why not do the same thing and out physical the ECU Pirates?
Some of that physicality.
Well, hey, to our listeners out there, Steve let something slip that's kind of inherent to the West Point lore.
Ooh.
And that's where he said, even the casual observer, well, that's not a term that most people use. But at West Point, when you do something bad or stupid, the upperclassmen would say something like this: you idiot, Crawford, that's intuitively obvious even to the most casual observer. So the casual observer term is in our lexicon. But the other thing about Coach Worley, what he's going to do, maybe he's just going to say, hey, we're going to do what we always do, and until you can stop us, and if you can't stop us, we're going to keep on trucking.
Yeah. And what Barrett hit on, I think is I think we'll be able to say mission accomplished. So time of possession. Again, we're ranked 3rd in the country, about 34.5 minutes per game that we hang on to the ball. At the opposite end of the spectrum, ECU is 132 out of 134. They don't hang on to the ball for even 25 minutes a game. So this could be one of those 2-to-1 ratio on time of possession. We could potentially finish with around 40 minutes where they're out there on 20 minutes. And that I love when those games come around, and I love watching the opposing D just go over there and grab oxygen, when they get on the sideline. Yes. Oh yeah.
Well, I think we're going to get into our prediction in a minute, but there's a real reason we're doing good this year. I found my lucky pen, see there, and it was buried somewhere in my bag.
That's why.
Bill, you are clearly secure in your masculinity carrying that pen around. Yeah, it's
Isn't it cute?
Little pink. Yeah.
Okay, so Steve, tell us a little bit about what you think about the end of the year and how that's going to shape up, because folks, this could be just an unbelievable year in Army football, and it could be because
it could be a special season.
But yeah, matter of fact, I pinned it to the top of our Facebook page, my preseason assessment. And I even said 7-0, we're probably looking at 7-0 start. But again, it's my title of the preseason assessment, Tale of Two Seasons. And we're really coming into the meat of the schedule. And again, we got Notre Dame. Talk about a signature win. Would love to see
at Yankee Stadium.
Love to see Monken get a signature win against the Golden Domers. But East Carolina, we've talked about them. Air Force, they're in a down year. They are struggling. A lot of the prognosticators have us winning by 2 touchdowns.
But it's still an Academy game.
Which is unheard of when you think of Academy football. UTSA, we got them at home. They're in a down year. Then we got Navy, a very capable team. The proof is going to be in the pudding. We'll see how things go down the home stretch. But we've got our work cut out for us. And if we don't continue improving in each of those areas where we've needed to improve, we could be finally playing from behind in some of these games.
We hadn't yet, and we haven't. We've continually improved from day one. No injuries, knock on wood, hold the lucky pen. But I don't know. And it's possible we could have 2 Army-Navy games back to back.
Yeah.
Well, boy, wouldn't that be something? Huh?
Yeah. But I would say what I would absolutely love, and I think it would be great for college football, even if we lose to Notre Dame and Navy loses to Notre Dame, wouldn't it be great to go into the Army-Navy game, assuming we don't get to the ACC championship or AAC, but, with 1 loss on both of ours.
Ugh.
I just think that, and probably ranked in the top 20, it would just sort of rekindle some of those memories of days gone by in Army-Navy when that was truly a national game.
Oh, yeah.
Well, hey, once again, the biggest enemy of sports talk is the clock, so we need to go ahead and give our predictions. Barrett, what say you there?
So last week I predicted that Army was going to get 5 touchdowns against UAB, and wow, pretty close. So I'm guessing against ECU, Jeff Monken's got to take the Army team and they got to play them 1 game at a time. ECU is not just another stepping stone to get on the path to the AAC championship. I think it's going to be a tough game, but I think Army's going to get 4 touchdowns and a field goal, 31-10. Army's going to win.
31-10, win by 10. Yeah. ECU is going to be the best team we've played to date. And I think it's going to show up in the score. I've got Army winning 32-17.
Oh, well, I'm still on the bandwagon. I think we're going to go big, and I think we're going to beat them 49-21. They're going to score some points. There's no doubt about that. So we wrote our predictions down. We'll see if we're right. And folks, this game, you will be able to listen to it on WZZN on one of their sister stations. Download the app and pick it up. It's also going to be on ESPN2 for a change. So hopefully the game day crowd will give us a little bit of love this year on Sunday morning. If you happen to be in Hunts Vegas, Alabama, there's 2 places the alumni gather. One is the Back 40 and the other one is Walk-Ons out in Madison. I think Steve's going to be at Walk-Ons. I'm going to be at Madison. Barrett will have to be at home with some out-of-town guests, but that's okay. And we'll be back here next week, same time, same channel. And guys, this is a really great season. This is probably the most fun we've had in quite some time.
Sir, there are 58 and a butt days until Army beats the hell out of Navy at FedEx Stadium in Landover, Maryland.
Oh, that sounds so good.
And that is intuitively obvious even to the most casual observer, right?
Even to the uninformed.
Hey, it could change if they play in the AAC championship.
And who does Sprint have next week, Barrett?
Sprint has Caldwell University out of New Jersey.
Joycey.
Joycey. You from Joycey? Yeah, I'm from Joycey. What exit off the Turnpike?
Oh, wow.
That's my Jersey accent, folks, for better or for worse. And any final comments from anybody before we got to get out of here?
No, I just think that, this season we're bowl eligible. We're ranked number 23 in the nation. It's not inconceivable that we could, have 1 loss to Notre Dame or beat Notre Dame, go into the AAC championship and just trounce Navy twice in a row.
That'd be,
Army.
Wouldn't it be great if both Army and Navy beat Notre Dame?
Oh, yeah.
All right, folks, we're getting out of here. And as always, we always say this when we close, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, somewhere in this world, there's a soldier, sailor, airman, Marine, or Coast Guardsman who is standing a watch so you can enjoy the great life you live. Go Army.
Beat Navy.
This is Crawdad back next. No, we won't be back next week. We're off.
2 weeks.
Back in 2 weeks. Bye.